everyone, welcome to my channel. I am so sorry that I did not get a chance to film this video yesterday so that it would air on Thrifty Thursdays like I promised, but hopefully you'll forgive me and hang in for this one. I did film this video over 3 different parts and pieced them together. It is a quite long video, as you can see from the thumbnail and whatever. But I'm hoping that, I know some of you hate when I do a long video, but I'm hoping that you'll just watch it as time permits in your busy schedule. And, you know, I will be coming back next Thursday, hopefully with the second part in this series that I have yet to name. And so you've got a whole week to watch this video. But anyway, this is the start of the series where we're going to take things from trash to treasure, so to speak, and just kind of let you in on what I look for when I am shopping with the intent of reselling. I try to think about reselling items as they are, or will it make good kit material? So I hope you enjoy what I've put together and enjoy some of the things that I've found. And as always, thank you for your time and buckle up for the show. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Haulertime and you are here with Amy. We are doing the first in our Thrifty Thursday Trash to Treasures. I don't know what I'm going to call this series yet, but this is kind of going to be my experience of taking things from purchase all the way through sale. So I don't know how many episodes will be in this series yet, but we are going to get started with the curating of items, thrifted items that can be used for junk journal resale. So I'm filming like this today so that we can see the items better. And I've got a lot of items to go through. And so, yeah, so if it takes you a few days to watch through this, great, because it might be a long one by the time it's all said and done. And I'm kind of going to be filming it in segments and then piecing all the segments together since I'm doing this on my phone. And sometimes we know I have trouble with that. So without further ado, let's get started. So the things that I'm showing you in this video, I believe I have price tags still on everything. And if you were so inclined, you could add up and see all the money that I've spent on this project. I don't have that at hand. But what I wanted to do is kind of explain what I look for while I'm thrifting and just kind of the thoughts that go into how I choose what to put into my cart and bring home. So we've got some stuff from antique malls, which would be your higher end, higher cost products. Usually. Now, sometimes you can find really good deals in there, especially if you've got an antique mall that is a mix of antique and thrift. So there may be sometimes when booths within the antique mall run sales. So you never know what you're going to find. And then I've also got some stuff from Savers, which if you're not familiar with Savers, it is similar to Goodwill. So it's going to be more of your medium cost, middle cost kind of items, usually cheaper than an antique mall, but not as cheap as the Goodwill outlet. And I do not have anything from the Goodwill outlet yet. I might by the time this is done, if this ends up taking more than one video, but I'm really trying to get it done in one video. So the Goodwill outlet usually has bins and you pay by the weight. Or if it's books, you pay by the inch. So that's usually the cheapest, but it's also the stuff that's in the roughest condition. And you never know what you're going to find. So predominantly this one, or not predominantly, this one will be all Antique Mall and Savers. And we will start with this item, which I found from Savers for $3.49. How many of you remember these old games from the 50s? Now, this is a replica set, and I believe that it says somewhere it's from 2002 is when they replicated it, but they took these 4 games and really recreated it, and they explain here. So I thought this was a really good buy. When I saw this, I snapped it up immediately. Now, granted, when I snapped it up immediately, I didn't realize it was a replica, but it is technically in the vintage time frame now, if you can believe it. There's some discussion in the community about what is vintage, truly vintage, and some are now saying that truly vintage is 50 years or older, but there is still a large part of the community that says anything 20 years and older is vintage. So this fits that 20-year category. But in here, now when I was growing up, my parents had a set of these, but they had the mini version. So for those of you that remember the mini version, and you can find tons of people on eBay selling the mini versions. Now I looked through this entire set, and there is maybe, I think, 1 card in this one missing, and I think maybe 1 card in this one missing. But you guys, these are great for putting in ephemera kits. Now I could choose to try to sell each of these boxes separately. I could try to sell the whole, just resell the whole kit as is. But since I know there's at least 2 cards missing, 2 of these had never appeared to have been played because all of the cards were in the order you would expect them to be for something that's never been played or shuffled. But these 2, Animal Rummy and Old Maid, had already been played. So, and they were both the ones that were missing something. So I could also list these on Etsy as for people looking for replacements, if they're missing some. And all of these Whitman cards had this kind of a background, but each game had a different color. So these are very good cards for ephemera packs. And they would also be good cards for freebies. If you do sell ephemera kits and you want to add freebies to it. So my guess is that I'm probably going to use these in ephemera kits, but it's yet to be seen until I actually do something with them. And they're replicas, so that's another reason why I probably won't just sell them as is, and I want to just use them in kits. So when I'm looking for things that I don't want to resell as is, but I just want to use in ephemera kits, I kind of in my brain have this idea that each piece, I don't want to spend more than 10 cents per piece. And so being that I spent $3.50 on this, that's what 35 pieces that I would need to get out of this, and I got way more than that. So that in turn helps when I have other pieces of ephemera that are more than 10 cents going into a kit. It's offset by these cheaper items. All right, so there's that. Then the next item is also from the Savers. And sorry, I'm trying not to jiggle the camera too much, but it's a little harder. So this I paid $4 for. I liked the box. It'll help me store ephemera for kits, but it's never been opened, and it's just something that was created to keep track of memories of your kids. There's tabs in here, and my guess is there's 18 tabs because they suggest giving this kit to your kid. You know, I should hold off before I open this, shouldn't I? Because, well, I just did open it, but I could, in theory, just resell this as is. I just don't know that I could get more than $4 for it. So maybe let me know in the comments what you think. But I really got it because I thought these are probably just plain index cards, so no biggie there. But then they've got these cool tabs in the back, which I thought would be great for ephemera. But if there's only 18 tabs, then that's a really high cost for that. So that probably is not worth it from that perspective. So maybe this would be a good item to try to just resell as is. So we'll put this back in here for now and potentially do that with that item. Then I found this book at Savers. And you guys know I love my flowers. This one was $3.99. So Savers can be kind of pricey on the books because, I don't know, a lot of thrift stores like Salvation Army, they'll just say like hardback books are $1 and paperback books are 50 cents or something, but Savers actually pays attention. So anyway, this is a perennial, excuse me, it has got matte pages, which is why I picked it. So even though it's got pictures of the flowers instead of illustrations, they're matte pages. So this book is going to get broken down into ephemera. So I can just, is it a glue back? Yeah, well, no, it's not. It's a sewn in signature. So maybe one of these videos needs to be how do we break down a book. But I can tell, oh, well, let's put the finger back since, yeah, there we can focus. I can tell just by looking at this that this is sewn in. So that'll make it kind of fun to break down. But anyway, then I would put a few of these pages in each kit, and then the recipient, can cut these out. I also could sell pre-cut ones in my Etsy shop like I do with several other things like this. So I'll probably do a mix of that and a mix of ephemera pages. But there's a ton of pages in this. And so this will last a good long bit. But I just love how, you're getting 4 images on a lot of these pages, and a lot of them are front and back. So even if you cut them out, you can pick then which side you want to use. So I thought that was a great find. All right, then this was from an antique store. I've come across these before. This is a set. There was a red, green, and blue book, and I've bought one of these before, but it had been partially cut. This one appears to be fully, all the pages appear to be here, but in the back, some of the pages have already come out, but which is okay because I'm going to use this for ephemera too. I did pay up for this, $5, so the hope would be that there would be 50 pages in here, but there is not. Like the last page number is, the last page number is 94. Well, you could count the index, but so there's not 50 pages worth in here, but it's close. So, but yeah, so these pages would just get pulled out and this would become a piece of ephemera in a kit. And this is, let's see if we can see a date. Copyright 1931. So this would fall into your authentic vintage to some people. You get to antique status once you're 100 years old. So that's a good find. Then we've got this bridge set. Apparently used, wrapped in kind of saran wrap kind of thing for $5. I know just by the fact that it's got 2 decks of cards in here that I've at least got 50 pieces of ephemera to make my 10-cent ephemera limit, but this has so much more. So let's open this up and see, because it's also got the score sheet books. So we've got the cards. I could definitely list the cards in my Etsy shop as part of the swap cards, and they're so pretty. Oh, hold on. They're so pretty, you guys, because I love flowers. So that right there, and they're in really good shape. I don't know what the age of this particular kit is. If I can find anything that would tell me. It may not be very old, but that's okay. So anyway, it came with the 2 decks of cards and then a few, I guess, how to play bridge cards, which could also be fun as ephemera. And then these really pretty score-keeping books that appear to be full. So these pads are great also for ephemera kits. Or you could even sell, you know, packs of just these. I'm looking to see if there's a year on here anywhere. Well, the photography is from 2010. So not vintage, but that's okay. It's pretty. And shoot, once you've used all the, excuse me, all the pages out of here, this would be a nice piece of ephemera too. So that was a great set for the price. But yeah, I love finding bridge. I've shown bridge parts on here before. I think that's fun. I love playing cards, so okay, we're making a mess. Now this one, I don't know why I'm showing you guys this one, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to put this in my personal collection. This is a little book of cheer. This was a Hallmark book. I paid $5.29 for it. If I didn't love it so much, sorry. If I didn't love it so much, this would be an awesome book to either resell as is, or look at the beautiful pictures that you could tear the book up and have all these ephemera pictures. But again, this one doesn't have very many pages, so that price that I paid for it is really high end if that was what I was going to do with it. But I think I'm going to just put this in my personal collection because I love it so much. And what was the date? See, Hallmark. And 1968. So this one is safe from destruction. Now this one, however, is not. I love finding these books, and this was a really good price for this one. I've shown these books on this channel before. They are great for these kind of monochromatic pictures. So people love getting children's illustrations in ephemera packs. And how many pages do we have in this book? Let's just see. So 157, so what, 75 pages in here, which makes the $4 price fit for the 10-cent per item. But it's just got some great real pictures, some great illustrations, and then look at these, you guys. I love this one. I think this is my second copy of this specific book, because this one has the 12 Days of Christmas song in it, and I love these color pages. So, and then you've got some green illustrations, but then again, Thumbelina, look at this, you guys. I mean, that's frameable art right there. So whenever I see these books, because there's a whole series of them, if they're in the $4 to $5 range, I buy them. No questions asked. And after you tear them out, I'm thinking about getting a cinch binding machine so that I could, I would probably cut the spine off, and then you could use the spine as a belly band. But then I'm thinking about cinch binding these two covers, and then I'd be able to fill it with paper. So I might actually, if I get that cinch machine, I might actually be able to create journals fairly easily for myself. I know it's not hard to create sewn in signatures. I just don't think that would be enjoyable for me. But some people would take these and cut with a mat knife or something, cut out this part and make a bookmark or a tag, cut this out, and then you'd have write a heavy duty tag. All right, now this one was in a booth that had a bunch of ephemera kits that they'd marked as Halloween decor, and they were all about the same price. So I picked up a couple just to kind of see what they put together. But when I'm going through an antique store, I'm looking for paper. I'm looking for books and paper that I think might be interesting. Plus, you could reuse this twine. But see, this one, I got this one because it's got the score pad. And I know I could take that score pad and use a page of it in different ephemera packs. Now, am I going to get 50 pages worth of stuff in this kit? Probably not. So this would be your higher end ephemera. And I'll be wanting to reuse this packaging. Let me get you, stop moving. Don't want you guys getting seasick. All right, let's turn this back over. So we've got a Congress bridge score pad. Very basic, but great for ephemera kits, because this is easily a piece that people can write on in their journal. So a whole pad of that, probably not 50 pages worth, but that's okay. Then we've got instruction book, which, you could break this up and put this as pages. I mean, that's probably what I would do for this. I would probably even, because it's just stapled, I would just take the staples out, and that way I've got a folio. But if for some reason I felt like I needed to get more pieces out of this kit, then I could just tear them in half. Nothing too exciting about this one, but people might, if they got a page like this in a kit, they could cut stuff out, or maybe they'd cut this out. I mean, who knows, right? That's the beauty of miscellaneous ephemera packs. All right, so there was that. What is this? Is this like a dance card that ladies would wear around their wrist? It is. Oh, that is so cool. From 1957. And so this, okay, well, I was expecting there to be a spot for boys to write their name on to take their next place in line for the dance card. So maybe this isn't, although it's got the, I don't know. I've seen ones like this that were dance cards, but this would stay together as a single piece of ephemera. Now, I might even try to resell this just as is for a couple bucks, which I don't think is unreasonable given I paid $5.50 for this little set. And then we've got, so what, like a vintage greeting card? I don't see a date, but it sure looks vintage, right? Is it the kind that you can open up? Yeah, so this would be a single piece of ephemera too, that I could either resell by itself or could go as a special thing in a ephemera kit. because somebody could open this. There's so much writing space in this, you guys. So that's a cute little thing. So, okay, was all this worth $5.50? I think so. Just because I know I can get a lot of that $5.50 back just with single sheets here. But these two things are pretty cool. So yeah, I'm excited about that. So yay. Then I found, this is also for my personal collection. I don't know that this could have been from last year for all I know, but because it's got the, you see I paid $6.99. I got this to store ephemera in. I like I like tins, and this one feels old because they've put an antique image as their cover or whatever, but it's probably not very old, you guys. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of wear on it like you would expect from an old tin, but I mean, it's beat up a little bit, right? But, you know, we got some dents and stuff, but this was probably like a Christmas cookie tin from not that long ago. But yeah, so I just picked this up for my personal storage use. All right, then this back to Savers. They have a wall with pegboards where they just hang up randomly packaged things. So this is $3.99. Let's see if this was worth it. It looked like it was just a bunch of stickers. People like stickers in things. You never know if what you get in these packs is going to be partially used. It's also challenging to open sometimes. All right. So what did it say? Okay, so it said, oh, well, housewares. Well, okay, yeah. I just got the impression it was stickers because I could see stickers. All right, so these look like the kind of, the Crafter Square, that's a Dollar Tree brand, right? So this is not, this would be worth $1.25. And it appears to have pieces missing, like the Mrs. is here, but the Mr. is not. So this is a partially used little kit here. So not worth much, right? Oh, but then we've got this planner stickers. And I don't know, I just thought maybe it would have good ephemera pieces. Okay, so this one also is partially used, but yeah, these would be good in kits, right? Oh, are we getting multiple? Oh no, those are not the same. Now, I have bought planner stickers over the years, so I know, like those pads from Michaels, they cost more than $3.99, and most of these are fully intact. So I take this as a win. I could even, I mean, I don't know how many pieces I got here. If I got 40 pieces, well then shoot, each kit just gets a whole sheet. But otherwise I could cut these sheets in half, or, you know, strips, whatever makes sense in order to get my 10-cent goal. But yeah, most of these, now that we're getting back farther, are unused. So yeah, so I think that was an awesome deal. But even still, you know, if you wanted to put these in like a freebie, you could cut out some of these, you know, and just have them as, I mean, that would really then go a long way. So I'll probably off camera count and see how many of these I got to determine what I'm going to finally do with this. But, and then you've got this cool, I've got this cool envelope now which I could, well, I'm sure I'll use it to hold these until they're all gone. But after that, I could use it for something else. So yeah, so this part, disappointment, but this part, that was great. All right, now this was another one from the antique store from that same Halloween decor one. I did already open this one because I was curious. This one was not as good. So again, $5.50. I do not think I'm gonna get my money's worth out of this, but I don't know, you guys tell me. I got this one because I thought that this book would be full of images like this. It is not. Now, it is still got good images, so I can still break this up because I've tried selling books like this, and they just don't sell well for some reason. But I guess you have to find the right person. But anyway, these would make good pages in an ephemera kit. And there's, how many are they numbered? 6. So there's like 30. So 30 of the 50 I would need to get out of this could come from this book. And the cover is I really like the cover. Then it also came with this, which I thought, you know, this could be a cool cutout. December 73, but it is religious, which is good for me, but it's not necessarily maybe good for people that are buying kits. But I love the type font on here, you guys. So this could definitely be, I could see sticking these. I mean, obviously, if somebody bought this and they were offended by it, they just throw it away, right? I mean, you're gonna get sometimes pieces of ephemera that you wouldn't necessarily use, but I just love the type font. And these are great. Cut these out. I mean, they you know, cross a little bit, but shoot, you age that up, you know, and junk it up. Well, sure, you have a little corner missing from a page, but I liked those. But then this one was a good, I did like this one. So this is an old Singer catalog or whatever, but it's got great fashion images in it. So this one I could see trying to sell this one by itself first. And then if it didn't sell, then breaking it up, because these would be awesome pages for a ephemera pack. So yeah. So I don't know if this particular one was worth the $5.50, but I do really like this. And there's parts of these that are okay. And if nothing else, for this one, it's a different size paper, which you always want to look for when you're trying to build ephemera packs. All right, then I found a little golden book. Of course, this was at the antique store, $3.50. I try not to pay more than that for a golden book. I don't know myself which ones of these are highly collectible and which ones are just run-of-the-mill version. But of course, with Easter coming, a lot of antique booths have their rabbit-themed ones out. But this one was in pretty good shape. It did have Shauna's name on here, like most of these books you find somebody's written in, but it has like no writing or anything in it. So this one is a really good one that I think I will try to just sell as is. And I want to make my money back. The goal of this is to make my money back plus a little. So I'd probably list this for $5. So yeah, so that was cute. But yeah, you can always find a ton of little golden books, and those kind of children's books, but you guys watch out for the booths that sell them for like 20 bucks, because that is not worth it. All right, then this was from the antique store. I got some more stock certificates, and I paid $2. I usually try to sell them for $3. And I try to just pick out a variety of colors. They're just single sheets, so that's why they're not really good for ephemera packs unless you're making like an expensive ephemera pack, because it's way over my 10-cent per page rule. But I love these, so these are great to just stick out there. And I'm not trying to cheat anybody, but obviously I can't list it for $2 because there's all the fees that are involved in listing on Etsy or whatnot. But listing it for $3 seems reasonable. But we've got this one, and this one was folded in half, so it's a little bit bigger. All of these were $2. Red. I love, you guys, this is the second Howard Johnson one I've gotten. I love these because everybody remembers Howard Johnson, right? With the orange roof. And then I got this one because it was a different size and it looked older. Now, this one was never used, but it is from the 1870s. So this one actually I probably would sell for more than $2 just because of the age. You know, the older it is, the more you can try to sell it for. All right, the last thing before I clean off the desk and get another bunch of stuff out for you guys. This, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. Okay, for one, I probably paid too much for this in doing price comparisons on eBay. On eBay, when you sell things like this as a whole, you really are looking for a collector. And so because it's birds and flowers, you guys, and those are my 2 favorite things when it comes to ephemera. So these are, they're all here. And how's the best way to show these? They're the envelopes. They're the first day of issue envelopes. So it came with 50 envelopes, and there's nothing in them, but it's these cool envelopes. But this person kept them intact and together, and you get the bird, you get the stamp. I mean, it's beautiful. Now, I've seen on eBay someone trying to sell these individual envelopes for $9 a piece. That seems ridiculous to me, but that's an option, right? You could sell them as singles. You could make 10 5-packs. You could sell this whole binder as a whole. You could just put these in ephemera packs. So the choices are endless with something like this. And I'm leaning towards selling them in sets, but I'm going to have to keep the Missouri and the Illinois ones. So then that would leave me with like 3 that I could maybe just stick in ephemera packs. But then part of me is like, no, save this whole thing and put it into my personal collection. Oh, sorry. Hang on. So, I don't know. The verdict is still out on what I'm going to do with this one, but it was one of those things where I saw it and I just immediately picked it up because it's my 2 favorite things. And unfortunately, sometimes when I go shopping, I am not price conscious because you just find things that you love. But, yeah, so 26 bucks for that. All right, so that's the end of the first set. That took 38 minutes, so I'm gonna reset my desk and be back for the next part. All right, I've got it set up now for the second batch worth of stuff, which may end up being the last batch. We'll see. But, all right, this is going to have a lot of books, and the majority of these things are from an antique mall. I will point out if the item is from a Savers instead. But let's get started. So, well, let's get started. Let's continue. So I found this cute little book. I love Telltale's books. I love Rand McNally elf books, and one of you has asked me to keep my eye out for a specific one, so I am happily doing that. But this one was cute. This one was only $1, which is a good price. So this will be an easy one to just resell as is. I kind of like to put these in my Whatnot auctions and start them out at $3 and see how they do there. But that one was in pretty good shape. Then I found this random, all right, so this I'm sure I overpaid for. So I paid $1.25 for this little notepad worth, there's, I don't know if there's 12 sheets in here to make it worth it, but I liked it because it's got the old phone number. It's a place from here in St. Louis, so I was willing to pay a little bit more for that, but this will get broken up into ephemera packs. Then I found several of these packs. So you get 5 of them for $1.75. These are great for lots of things, actually. Let me see if I can undo this so I can show you one. I have had success selling these magazines as a whole, like the individual magazines. I've also put pages from these in ephemera kits. I'm trying to save it so I can keep the string. So hold on. So $1.75 for 5 is a good price. That makes it to where I can easily list these for $2. Oh, and we have a knot. Why not list it for $1? Because when you list something for $1, either on Etsy or Whatnot, you end up losing you lose a lot of money with the fees. And so I try not to list very many things for $1, just so that I get all the fees covered and still make something for my time, basically. How long is she going to try to get this knot out? So anyway, I wanted to show you, open one of these and show you. So these are from, well, different dates, of course. They're magazines. We've got January 69, January 70, November 67, so a great Thanksgiving one. These ones that are kind of holiday themed are easier to sell. Oh, good. We've got the Christmas one. And then we've got this one that's missing its cover. So this one will just get broken up into ephemera kits. But these make great ephemera kit pages. And all of these magazines are pretty similar in nature, with the exception of whatever their theme is. So I also love when they've got these cards in them. But I will be listing these full intact magazines separately in my shops. That's what I'll end up doing with those. And then this one, like I said, I'll just break it down and add these to ephemera kits. So that's was a really good deal. I believe I got 3 sets of these. I just don't have the other ones down here, and I probably won't show the other ones since it's just more of the same. But that was a good deal. So magazines, when you're looking for them in antique stores can really run a big gamut of prices. You'll see I've got some more magazines in this pile, but you just kind of, it's hit or miss, really. You just learn from experience what you're able to sell, and if something doesn't sell, don't buy it. Don't buy more of it, or if it does, then, you know, keep your eyes out. But I always look for magazines because they're a great source of vintage advertisements too. I also look for these old product-specific cookbooks. I like those better than just like a Betty Crocker cookbook, for example, because I love the pictures. So this one was $1.50, which was also a good price. So this could be, I could try to sell this just as is for maybe $3. Or if that didn't sell, then I could break it down, and these would be great pages for an ephemera kit. I started watching somebody on TikTok. Their TikTok channel is like the Old Crow Journaling Company or something. So that, of course, caught my eye because my last name is Crow. And she likes to do TikTok videos showing the new items that she's procured that will be in her kits. So, for example, if she was going to break this down, she'd like show, well, like the next 5 kits are going to have a page from this kind of thing. And I was like, well, I could do TikToks like that. Then we've got, like I said, I love these Junior Elf books. I may choose to add this to my collection. It was only $2. One of my favorite books from when I was a kid was called Jiggers, and it was a Rand McNally elf book. So I might try to collect some of those, but I am looking for the one for the viewer that she asked for. But yeah, these are great books. They're great to try to just sell as is. I do have success selling books like this on Whatnot. And because I only paid $2, then I can easily start it at $3 in an auction if I were going to sell this one. And if for some reason it didn't sell, I would probably leave this in my shop as a buy it now. And then maybe after a month, if it didn't sell, then maybe I'd break it up, you know, tear it up, because then the market will have spoken. Here's another one, The Dollhouse. And this one just, they always have such great pictures. I love the artistry from this time period. I mean, look at that. These are great. For a doll collector, this one is 1961. But I paid up for this one, you guys. But I think I'm going to put this one in my collection too. For when I have grandkids, then I'll have some kid books for them. Because that was really special for me when I would go visit my dad's parents. They always had books like this sitting next to the bed. And I literally, all the way through high school and college, when I would visit them, I would still read those books just for the nostalgia. So here's another one, Telltale, The Three Bears. Only $2. So that was a really good price. But you can see it's, you know, it's got some wear and tear like all vintage things do. But I will be listing this as a standalone item. And then anytime I can find these, I know they reprint these all the time, but this is kind of the ones that were popular when I was in grade school. This one maybe is a little bit after, because I think this one was 1989, but it's the green book ones. And those are the ones that I remember when I was in grade school. So I just picked this one up for my own personal collection. But these make good ephemera pages too, because you've got all these great Beatrix Potter images. I mean, look at that. That's beautiful. You could even cut that out, you know, and use it as a ephemera. So But yeah, this one's going to go in my personal collection. And who doesn't like Raggedy Ann? So this one is 72. And it was in pretty good shape. Raggedy Ann seems to be pretty popular in the journaling world. So whenever I see Raggedy Ann stuff, I try to kind of pick it up unless it's like super new, but. And Winnie the Pooh is also very popular. And let's see what the year is on this. 65. And this one was in pretty good shape. So for $1.85, easy listing for $3. Day on the Farm. Farm life is surprisingly popular in the journaling world as well. This one is 1960. And again, I have accidentally bought these golden books that were in like really rough shape without paying attention, like they had tape all over them. So I try to pay attention to that a little bit more now. I have sold one of these in a Whatnot auction, so I picked up another one when I found it. And this one is 1957. And that's, I think the reason why this one was popular was because, of course, the letters. But I really want to get a cinch machine because these would be perfect for making binded journals. So maybe if I can sell enough in I'm doing an auction next week because I'm on spring break. So maybe if I sell enough in that auction, I can get myself a cinching machine. Tom and Jerry, who doesn't love Tom and Jerry? 1955. So in really good condition. And I love when they have these. Okay, now look at this. Okay, I said 1955, but this says 1982. So this is obviously a reprint that they didn't have to acknowledge here, which I don't understand that. So maybe because they literally made no changes in this, but yet I want these books copyright to be evident of when they were made. And then we got Wild Animals, which I guess now we got to second guess ourselves with all these dates. This one says 1960. See, it shows 51 and then it shows 60. So that's what I would have expected the other one to do when it had something in the back from 1982. This one doesn't, but this one's got some great images. So all of these were a pretty good price. You can definitely get scammed on those, so watch out. So again, I like looking for more paper stuff. So this one I was not sure. It said it was a calendar, but I was like, is it a calendar or is it like a receipt book? And it had a lot missing. So I did look at it and it was actually really cool. So it is a calendar, you guys. So it says winter. So I bet January and February are what have already been torn out. So this one starts with March 3rd. And there are some blank pages in the back, but it goes all the way through the end of March. But isn't that great, you guys? So my thought is that for stuff like this that's dated, I love looking for dated items because I now on my Etsy listing for my ephemera pack, I now give people the option to personalize those. And so options for personalization, well, they can really put anything they want and then I can check my stash to see if I've got things for it. But dates are obviously an easy thing to personalize, you know, a birth date, an anniversary date, whatever. So like me personally, because Gabby's birthday is the 17th of March, I'm going to pull the 17th out, and that's going to go into the journal I'm making her for graduation. But then maybe somebody else orders something from me and they're like, hey, if you happen to have anything from March 8th, I'd take it, you know, so then I can do something special with that. So yeah, so $4 for this maybe isn't worth it because there's not 40 pages in here. I mean, there's close. Well, no, there's not, because on the weekends you have 2 dates on one, but it is old. I really wish it had had February, because my mom was born on the 23rd of February, 1951. So that would have been cool. But so yeah, so this is again one that I paid up for, but being that I have other things that are less than 10 cents per item, we're doing okay. Now this was $1.50 for blank recipe pages. I wasn't really sure. Oh yeah. So it's just, again, these are great. I mean, it's plenty of space for people to write on for journaling. So it's just a set of these. How much did it cost? $1.50. Well, there's at least 15 in here, so that's a good deal. So this will go, actually, I could even, well, I don't know, you guys. See, this is where I sometimes get into trouble, because there's so many things you can do. I could make little packs of just these for people that want more than one, or I can just say, nope, for the next, you know, 15 or 20 ephemera kits, there's going to be a page of this in there. I do try to keep my ephemera kits unique from themselves still, but there are cases like this where, you know, a lot of the kits may have this same page, but there's still plenty of other pieces in the kit that are different. All right, so then I found these. You guys remember these? These are decals. And I got these just to sell as is. Paid $1.40 for each of them, and they appear to be still in their wrapper, fully, you know, unused. So I think this will be an easy one to list. I haven't opened it yet, because it would be just, well, I'll have to take off the price tag, of course. But all the different places you can use this. So even this page would be good for somebody. So I've got those. I feel like I got a third one, but I don't see it down here. So then we have another one of those, I guess the Rumford baking powder. Okay. Yeah, I'm a sucker for these kind of cookbooks, because they also usually will have an advertisement in them. I say that and watch this one not. Well, let's just flip through. So it's got pretty colors. These make great ephemera kit pieces. Where's the advertisement? Well, maybe this is it in this case. Yeah, sometimes they'll have like a big page, a full page. But so yeah, that's part of the reason why I like looking for those, is for the advertisement. But I paid $1.75 for that. So I don't know, I could list this by itself for a while, and if it didn't sell, then break it up. And then this, all about cooking, the Kroger Home Economist. $2 on this, which makes it a more likely candidate to try to sell it by itself, because it doesn't look big enough to have 20 pages. It is pretty it was used in a kitchen, right? So it's got wear and tear that you would expect to find. But just some great pages. I guess no real advertising in this, but great mid-century colors. So I don't know. I may try to sell this by itself, but it most likely is going to get broken up. So I'm thinking that my next video in this series, I'm trying to decide. I should have had Chat GPT set up an outline for me for this, and I may still do that, but of what my final decision was to do with each of these items. All right, I paid $2.50 for this bridal shower game, and does it have a year? It doesn't have a year, but I was thinking it seemed kind of mid-century, and it's just a whole pad of three different games. So 3 different sheets for ephemera packs. All right, then we've got some more. Okay, well, this one's newer because it's got full phone numbers. Salem, Missouri, Tulsa, Oklahoma. A full pad of paper for $3.50. Ooh, so that might be a little bit, I don't know, maybe there's 35 pages in here. But again, this will just get, nobody's going to want to buy just a pack of this unless for some reason this particular company really meant something to you. So this will just go in my ephemera packs. All right, then we've got some more. How much was this? $4. Oh, this one's kind of pricey too. And I think this one might have been a disappointment because I think these might all be plain. So they're all from Folger Atom Company in Joliet, Illinois. But yeah, they're all just plain. I was really hoping it had the company name on all the pages. So yeah, I think I paid $4 for just a bunch of blank paper pads. Yeah, so that's a little disappointing. I mean, obviously people can still use that, and maybe I try selling these by themselves so that people get the whole thing, because they all seem to be fully, well, maybe not this one. Does this one have some stuff already? Well, I don't know. I don't see anything. So yeah, I don't know, because just putting a piece of this in a ephemera kit, well, that's not interesting. So yeah, maybe I don't know what the age is on these, but maybe I'll try selling these by themselves. That's the trouble sometimes, obviously, when you're buying things that you can't look at. Like if I'd been able to open this in the store, I wouldn't have bought that. All right, now this one was super cool, you guys. I paid $2 for it. I almost want to put this in my collection too. It came in a like postcard sleeve, which you could reuse. But this was an instant traveler's instant money converter. And it's instructions on how to use the book, but you use this, like it's got a page for each country. Well, not every country, but you know what I'm saying. You figure out what the exchange rate is, and then you put this in, and then you're like, who? I've never even seen something like this before. So, and it's interesting paper. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this one yet, because I could easily see putting this in a junk journal. The problem is, like, Italy would be fine because you've got those, but then Norway wouldn't be still with Norway. But I don't think it would matter. I think it's just interesting paper. But it's such a cool book that I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. 1968 edition. So yeah, I picked that up just because I just thought it was cool. I love books that have numbers and stuff in them. I find that interesting. So, all right, then we've got, this is a replica of an 1876 book. And I think it was done in 1976 because it was in celebration of the bicentennial. And let's see if we can get it to focus. $8, so kind of pricey, but it's got cool paper. It's like almost like a city directory, but it's got these full page ads in them, which I just love. So it was worth it to me for that. I mean, oh, sorry, you're bouncing, bouncing, bouncing. But look at that. That's cool, right? Oh, hold on. So I maybe don't like that the paper's this yellow, but like I'd rather all the paper have been like this. But yeah, I still think it's pretty cool. Now, will I try to just resell this as is? I'll probably check eBay to see if other people are trying to sell this, and then see what I think after that. All right, let me see if I can finish this side. Well, no, I've got stuff falling over. So, all right, so for $5, $5, oh, that's probably was too pricey on this, but this is baby shower games. So the other one was wedding shower games. This one's baby shower games. So is there 50 pages in here? Maybe. But it's a cute little, it's cute. It's a cute vintage piece. So it was probably worth the $5. Okay, let me get some of this stuff off the desk so I have some room to work. So hang on. Okay. Then I found this Peter Rabbit calendar for $19.99. And it's Peter Rabbit. That's extremely popular. It is vintage with it being 99, but it's got, I won't take it out, but it's not been opened. And I paid $4. So you could sell it as a whole. You could sell the prints, and obviously on the back side of each print is a month. You could cut out pieces. I mean, you could do all kinds of stuff with this. But again, because it's Easter, a lot of the antique stores are bringing out all their Peter Rabbit stuff, which is great. Then here's an example of a old magazine that actually, so this is March of '63. Let me zoom out just a little bit. And I paid $4.50. These are great for advertisements. And of course, just great images. So I'll just show you, I mean, you could sell this as is or break it up and sell the, I mean, some people would come in here and pull all these full color page ads out and sell those by themselves, which that I could see doing for $1. Now, some people do them for like $5 to $8 a piece, which that seems crazy, but I could see doing them for $1. Oh, and you've got some great, well, but look at that. Just great mid-century modern. I love that. Fashion. So yeah, this was a really good buy, I felt like. Oh, that Pyrex stuff. Where did that go? Oh, I'm not going to be able to find it now, of course, that I'm trying to find it. Okay, this pattern right here, I have my mixing bowls in this pattern, and I found them at an antique store. Paid like 50 bucks for the set. Nowadays, 200 bucks when you're looking for that stuff. So that was a cool magazine find. But yeah, on Whatnot, people do look for magazines. So I could definitely see trying to sell these as is. So we've got a March 63 Family Circle, $4.50. And again, probably just more of the same as what we just saw on the other one. This one looks a little bit, look at all the patina on the edges, so it's a little bit more worn. Oh, look at that. So yeah, this is, I love these old magazines. Now I won't pay, like, unless it was an antique magazine, I would pay over $10 for an antique magazine, but I would not pay over that for just a vintage magazine. But $4.50, is that what this one was? Yeah, that's a good price. Now this, I've passed this up multiple times in this antique store, and I finally decided to buy it. It's beautiful, you guys. Now it does not, the reason why I passed it up in the past was because it's empty, but I've since seen Hyperstamper on YouTube putting the pages from these in her junk journals. I paid $6.99. You can see it's in rough shape. But you guys, look. So she takes these and folds them in half and puts them in her journals. And then you've got built-in spaces to tuck things. So this book is just full of these pages. Now it does get kind of chewed on the farther back we get. Let me see if I can see at the top, you know, it's, I don't know if that's bookworm activity or whatever, but I don't care. That's the joy of, and actually this is probably antique, not vintage. So yeah, it's just a whole bunch of pages. So these will be going in kits for sure. For sure. And then I'll have this beautiful cover that perhaps if I get the binding machine, I can restore. But isn't that beautiful? What's the back look like? Oh, the back is just, well, it's got embossing, so that's pretty too. So the spine is kind of junk. So I could definitely see cutting it along here and then binding and maybe having it be, you could have it be like this style. So that would be really pretty to restore. All right, so here was another one of these. Let's zoom back in a little bit. Okay, so then I found this pack of, oh, sorry. It's like I put my hands on the phone to still it, and then it still gets wonky. So $6 for this. Am I going to have 60 pages in here? No. But when you're dealing with authentic vintage receipts, you can charge more for that. So hopefully you guys aren't seasick yet. But this was just a bunch of, so 46, Just a bunch of receipts. She had other things like this in her shop, but this was the only one I could tell had multiple pages in it, which that meant more to me to get the volume. 47. So these all appear to be kind of from the same time period, late 40s. And some of them have multiple pages. You could separate those to give yourself additional pieces, or you can leave them together. I usually separate them just to get the volume, because each piece in itself is still decent. And in my area, for some reason, I just don't find very many people selling old receipts for decent prices. So yeah, so just that little kit I thought was a pretty good deal. Then I love these Dover coloring books from the 80s are my favorite. So I keep finding them unused, which is kind of surprising to me. Let me pull this back out a little. But these Dover ones, they always give you an example of what it should look like for some of the pages. And of course, Peter Rabbit, they're just beautiful. So these could easily be sold as is, and probably would be pretty popular to sell as is because it's Peter Rabbit. I've had other ones that were kind of like military uniforms, and those you got to find the right buyer, but this would be pretty well snapped up, I think, and I only paid $2. So that might be a good example of something that I could, because, you know, if you're going to do this as a business, reselling, you want to make a profit, right? And not everything you buy is going to be that profitable, but when you find some that could be, go for it. But I always, and maybe we'll have an episode on this, I do price comparisons. So I try to be kind of in the middle of what other people are charging, because I don't want to extort people, but I also don't want to get ripped off myself. So Jack and Jill magazines, those are super popular. I remember getting these when I was a kid, but this one from 1957, you can see it's had water damage, but in the journaling world, we don't care. I thought $5 was a great price for this. And I would probably try to sell this first as is, but this would be a great one to break down too. But because these are kind of highly collectible, I think, oh, look, it's got paper dolls in the middle. So yeah, this one will probably go in the pile of things that I'm going to list as is. Got another one. This one's actually Peter Rabbit. Not, the other one was Benjamin Bunny. So here we've got Peter Rabbit again. These you could cut out front and back, and then I don't know, I just love them because they're Beatrix Potter's images. Like there are some Peter Rabbit books out there that have a different illustrator, and I just don't like those as much. And this one was only $2. Then we've got this Easter activity book for $2. So yeah, that's, oh, this one had all the stickers. Yes, look at that, you guys. I mean, this would be so cool to just tear out the sticker page and cut these up for freebies or something. But I will probably try to sell this as is first. And then this was from Savers. People are always talking about how awesome it is to work with wallpaper border, because you can take some YouTubers actually make their journal covers out of this, but these just make great additional pieces in a signature. So my goal for this was to buy it and cut it down into page size pieces or folio size pieces. So that's what I'll be doing with that one. This was also from Savers. This was just a bag of, for $4.99, a bag of keys and locks. So these are great to put on dangles for journals, or if you have, you know, you can work it out so that your journal locks, you know, if you're using ribbon or something. But yeah, so I don't know if $4.99 for this whole bag was a good price, but that's why I bought that. All right, then these last three things were also from Savers, I believe. This one was a $2.99 grab bag. I saw these cards, so I thought I'd give it a try. Let's cut this open. Flashcards are always a good thing to look for. Bingo cards, game pieces, Monopoly, old vintage Monopoly game. Well, any old vintage game that comes with cards, I think is great. Okay, so you just get these two things in this kit. Okay, so they're glossy, which is not my favorite, but these would still be good. Why are there two of everything? What does the back look like? Oh, okay. Well, these would still be good for using in collage, and you could tape these into a book and it could be a, you know, a flip page or whatever. So it's just a whole bunch of, you could also, of course, replace the word if you wanted, put something else over it. So just a whole thing of these cards. Pretty big size cards. And you can take some sandpaper and make them less glossy. You could use them as journal covers, right? If I get my cinching binding machine or whatever, because it's a thicker coated paper, it could easily become a journal cover, or maybe a tab divider, add a tab to it. A section divider, I guess, is more what I mean. Okay, those don't want to go back in there just yet. And then it came with this. Oh, right on wipe off. Okay, well, that's not so interesting to me. But you could still cover them. How do I open this? I mean, they're also a thicker. So you could, and they've got the pre-made hole, so you could collage on this and get yourself a pretty nice tag. Or maybe you like it like this. So yeah, so for, I think that bag was $2.99, so that's not bad for getting some thicker cardstock. I mean, that's kind of sometimes what it is when it's like you're buying a pad of scrapbook paper, and you know how expensive those can be. Well, this is kind of like that too. You're just getting something different. All right, this one was $3.99, and it looked like it was just a stationery set. There is obviously a component to this of, this stuff is all now part of my inventory for my business. So there is a component to this where I enter this stuff into a spreadsheet so that I know what I paid for it. And then that also helps me determine selling prices. So we have a whole pad of paper in here, beach theme, which is popular. So these would be great to sell. I could sell these as, are these envelopes? No, these are cards too. So I could sell, I have some stationery sets on in my Etsy shop. So you do get envelopes and cards. So I could have, you know, you get an envelope, a card, and a couple sheets of paper for your beach kit. Or actually, I probably would do 2 cards, 2 envelopes, and maybe 4 sheets of paper is how I would probably break that out. And then if there was any extras, they would just be for ephemera kits. And then last, we have this for $2.99, and it just seemed like a bunch of random gift cards. So obviously, you know, compare that to what you'd pay at the Dollar Tree, 2 for $1. They're still 2 for $1, right? Those didn't get raised to $1.25, I don't think. So we've just got cards and envelopes. They're not old or anything. Probably came from box sets, but these would still be great to add into kits. I'm trying to see if there's anything. Okay, so all of those that didn't have envelopes, here's the envelopes that probably go with those. So yeah, it looks like somebody pretty much just took them out of whatever box they were in. So like some of these, you know, if you didn't want to put them because they're sympathy cards, you know, you could fussy cut this out and it would be a, you know, a decent card stock ephemera piece. So yeah, so that's not terrible of a kit for 2 something, wasn't it? Wasn't it $2.99? Yep. So all right, this is already going to be pretty long, but we said you could take multiple days to watch this. I do have another set of items left in this haul to show. So I guess we're going to see. We'll see if I break this up into, maybe I'll break this up into 3 separate videos. I don't know, you guys. I get complained at regardless. So we'll see what I decide to do. But yeah, if I do make this all one long video, just if it gets too long, just come back and watch some another day. But okay, shoot, I didn't like end the other. I guess I'm probably gonna put this all in one because I haven't been like ending the other segments, and then I don't want to have to like add stuff in. So yeah, I'll probably do this all as one. All right, well, I'll be back and well, it'll be like that for you guys with the last part of this haul. Hang on. All right, we are now loaded up with the 3rd and final piece of this vintage haul. And these are some of the bigger items. Well, and some small items, but we have some bigger things that I think will be fun to look at too. So this first item is from Savers. It was on the shelf right as I walked in the store, and it's Clue, you guys. I love Clue, and I've never seen this version of Clue. I think this one is from 1960 or 1962. It says somewhere on the box. But the box, you guys know, these old games in this style box, they tend to start to separate kind of up in here. But this one is still in fairly decent shape. So let me pull this off. You could easily cut this down and make some stuff if you had a box that was in kind of rough shape. It's 1963 is what was on the box. And like I said, I've never seen this version. I guess I've only seen newer ones. But here's the board game. And it is also in really good shape. But again, you could take a mat knife and cut this down. You could cut out each of these rooms if you wanted to have journaling cards or, you know, tags or whatever. You could also make covers out of this, but it's in really good shape. I'm trying to decide if I want to just resell this game as is, but I need to do some price comparisons. I'll tell you the price for this at the end because I think it's on the bottom. But anyway, it still had probably every single piece of paper from the suspect pad. And it's just that a lot of them are partially used. But it still had a lot. I mean, and these, people put this kind of stuff in kits too. It doesn't matter that it's partially used because it's junk. So, and then on this, you could fussy cut these people out to make some cool tags if you wanted to. And then it miraculously does have all the pieces. So some people use these parts and will drill holes into them or whatever so that they can put them on dangles. I don't really do that, but so we've got the solution card envelope. We've got the instructions. All of this is paper, obviously, so any of that is great for kits. And then it's got all of the cards. But see, they're like cartoons, which makes them unique to me. But yeah, you could put these cards in kits. And I saw somebody selling like every single piece of this individually for people that are trying to fix their own set. But it did have all of the pieces in this. So that's why I think I might try to resell it as is if I can make a profit. So let me put this back in and then I'll look on the bottom to see what the price was. I want to say it was $6.99, which may not leave me very much room because when I was price checking this stuff last night, some people are selling it for super cheap, but maybe that's because it's only the board. Like some people just had the board, some people just had pieces. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. It's also would be a hard thing to mail, I think, because it's super long. But let me get this carefully out of the way. Oh, it's $7.99. So that might make it even tougher. But I was talking with my dad and he said it would be that you could definitely cut up a board like that if you had a mat knife. So I'll keep that in mind. Next, I found this huge book at Savers. Looks like Goodwill back in 2017 tried to sell it, or maybe did sell it for $3. But it appeared back at Savers for $3.99. And you guys, so some people shy away from buying big books like this because they're just so big. And I want to make sure I don't knock over my drink. But I'm trying to think of the easiest way. Let me zoom out a little bit. Well, now you can see my my phone stand cord. But let me, hold on. This is a fold out. Okay, it's blank on the back side, and it's literally a fold out, like accordion style book. But look at this, you guys. You could I'm gonna probably cut out each one of these maps separately because they're blank on the back. So it's perfect for, and even this, you know, this could be multiple pieces if you cut it along these lines up here, or, I mean, to make tags. I love maps. But there's not just maps, because this is like world history. So then you've got these images down here and, you know, all kinds of stuff. But all of these things, it's put in here very well laid out, I guess maybe is how I would say it, so that they can easily be, and it's such pretty colors. It is a little bit glossy. It's more of a semi-gloss. It just happens to be reflecting the ring light pretty strongly there, but I don't know. I just thought this was awesome, and just awesome colors. So I'm excited to see how many pieces I can get out of this for either kits of just this or putting these in larger ephemera packs. But I don't know. I think it's cool just seeing the colors, because it's different colors for each period of time kind of thing. And there's different countries. Because like down here, it's papal Rome, so you've got the different popes. So, and then at the very bottom, which you can't see, it's got the timeline. So that's why this would be ideal probably for a history teacher's classroom, to just put this up on the wall, although it's so tiny print. But it goes all the way up to 1900. So this is the last page. And so I just thought that was awesome. I am going to enjoy cutting that up. And apparently, you know, it's been through a few different thrift stores, so I think it's time to cut it up. And for $3.99, I think that's going to end up being a good deal. All right, then we've got, this was from Savers. Maybe a little bit pricey, $4.99. It's a baby diary. Has it been used at all yet? So I could certainly see trying to sell this as is, because it's never been used. I just don't know if I could get more than $4.99 for it. But it's got all these pretty pictures that you can cut up, or just, I don't know. Sometimes I go back and forth. Do I give the purchaser just the whole page and they do what they want with it? Or do I cut some stuff out and make some decisions for them? But anyway, it's got great illustrations, and then a bunch of just, oh, I guess they go all the way through. So I thought those would be great, but it is in really good shape. I mean, it's a little bit bowed, I guess. So I don't know. I'll probably do some price checking on eBay and Etsy to see if anybody is selling something like this and what they're asking for it. But yeah, so I liked that. Well, shoot, I liked all of this stuff. That's why I bought it. Now, Savers is a good place. I continuously find things like this. I got this because you could make acetate windows for envelopes or specimen slides or any of that kind of stuff. So $2.99 for 100 sheets. I could easily put a fourth of a sheet in a kit and easily get my $2.99 back on that. If I could figure out if it could go through, oh, it says do not use in any printer. There is stuff like this that you can put through a printer, but this one does say not to. So, yep, so this will just get cut up. But it's brand new, never been opened, $2.99. I mean, that's a steal. And then they also had, this one didn't have a price on it, so I just scanned a $2.49 item twice that was a similar item. But this is clear mailing labels. These can go through your printer. So I could use these for thank you stickers or printing off ephemera, that kind of stuff. I also bought I bought the download that Seven Plaza has for Boo Boo tape, which is what she created to you know how everybody likes that really old tape that's yellowed? And you can make that yourself with alcohol inks, but it's messy. So she created a digital that you could print on clear paper, either matte or glossy, and it looked pretty real. So I bought at Walmart last night, I did buy a package of clear label paper. I don't know what was called, but you could do the same thing with something like this. So these are all, it's just a whole package of clear labels. They don't look clear, but they are. So, and if you buy digital kits, you can print those on these too. So this one, you're getting 1,000 labels. It was open already, but it really doesn't look like, stuff is, I mean, if anything was taken out of here, it was only a few pages. So those kind of things at My Savers are in with like the binders and stuff. And then I found a couple more. Can create your own Rolodex cards. Isn't this like an oxymoron? Let's get sophisticated enough that we're printing our Rolodex cards, but why are we still using Rolodex cards again? But there are several creators on YouTube that do series on upcycling Rolodex cards. So I don't even have to print anything on them, but you could. So yeah, so these will end up in kits. And then the other one that was connected to this, oh, I don't know if I'll use this or not, but they were bundled together. They are labels. So yeah, I mean, I could find a digital that would work really well with that, print it on there and put those in kits too. So, but that one was not as exciting to me. It just happened to be bundled. And then this box was from Savers. It was just a box, but I thought it was so pretty. So let me take the rubber band off. So this will be to store ephemera. How many things do I need to store ephemera? Lots, because I really want to be organized with it. Or I could use it even to store maybe some smaller kits that I've already made and they're waiting for sale, but it came with some dividers. It was in really good shape, and it's a really pretty pattern for $1.99. So can't beat that. These were all from the antique store. There was a booth that had a bucket of cards, and each deck was just $1. So I picked some out of that I thought would be good. These apparently were not ever for playing, because they're literally just a little bit thicker than construction paper, but I still thought they'd be great as small things for ephemera kits. And they're just plain cards, but some of them had some good patina on them. So yeah, so I just, for $1, yes. I would buy cards at that price all day long. And someone was telling me that the guy that owns this shop was like destroying decks of cards, because this antique store, a lot of people put their price tags on the backs of playing cards. And so they finally had to tell him, stop, people will buy those decks of cards. So he finally did, but she was saying that, he was cutting up like old airline ones. And I was like, well, who wants that? But then I was like, wait, Those would be great advertisement pieces for those airlines that are now defunct. Why haven't I been looking for airline cards? So now I'm going to look for airline cards. But these are Mr. Magoo. So cut this out. This would be a cute piece. But jokes and riddles, I had no idea what to expect, except this is kind of an example of what the cards look like. So not, I don't know, maybe not all that exciting, but still, you could easily put these in a tuck spot in a journal. And for $1, or were these $1? These might have been. Okay, these were in a different booth for $3. But even that still felt okay. I was really hoping, though, that they were all going to have... I was really hoping they were all going to have this on them. So it was a little disappointing. And then this, I guess, was in a different one, too. $3 advertising. We've got Mueller lumber or Miller lumber. I've seen it pronounced both ways. Do we have a date? I don't see a date. I don't even remember what these look like. Oh, these are like mid-century. So look at that. It's almost like, well, it is pictures. It's like mid-century modern pictures. So yeah, I saw those and I thought those were great. So these will end up in, and they've got great patina in the back. So these will end up showing up in my shop as swap cards. I already have a ton of swap cards listed in my shop for anybody that does that. All right, then in my favorite paper booth, I found a bunch of these random recipe packets for $1.40. And I don't know if it's worth $1.40, you know, with my 10-cent rule. But I was really curious to see what was included because, you know, vintage recipe cards and stuff would be good. But obviously we've got some like newspaper here. So let me pry these out. Ooh, lemon icebox cookies maybe, or bars. So yeah, so recipe cards are a good thing to put in ephemera kits. Okay, hang on. Oh, lemon icebox cheesecake. So yeah, there's a piece. Oh, and it's even got a back that somebody could write their own notes on. I used to get these. Where are these from? These are from some kind of CompuCook. Oh, I wonder if these were in the grocery store that you could pick up when you were in there. So another one of those. And I love these, right? These are the kind that you could do like mail order subscriptions. 1973. Usually pretty gross looking food, but it's unfortunate that they folded it, but that's okay. It's junk. And then we've got, what do we have? Oh, there are recipes over here. What's the date on this? November 2nd, 1976. Oh, almost my first birthday. So some great advertisement pieces in this. That's unexpected. But also some recipes. So, and where was this, a St. Louis? Oh no, this was the Wichita Eagle newspaper. So yeah, okay, well, I really like that, but not for the recipe part, but for the advertisements. So is that just more of what this is? Looks like it. So yeah, okay. I'd say that's probably worth $1.40. I mean, I'm not getting a lot of pieces out of it, but they're unique pieces, which that can be equally as important. So I got 4 of those. So let's see what we get on the others. So sometimes when you're looking in these booths, you got to look high and low and behind things, because a lot of times people think that paper won't sell. And so they just kind of hide it places. And not that they're hiding it, but they just don't display it. And so sometimes you can find some good stuff if you're willing to look. But there's always going to be booths that you can immediately say, nope, don't. Oh, look, there's a coupon. $12.198. Oh, that's something I didn't point out. And those magazines that I had from the 60s that I showed you guys, there were coupons in there. And I was looking to see if any of them were, and actually I think they were. That was before they put expiration dates on them. So if those companies had still been around, we could have still used those coupons. But the ones that I found were not still good. But yeah, these would be great. This I would definitely pull apart into different pieces because nobody's going to buy this. So I have another one of these. Oh, equivalent. So that's nice. And then some more newspapers. Are these from the Wichita? I don't know. I'm really excited about these. I'm going to enjoy cutting out these advertisements. Oh, this is, so maybe I'm getting the whole, whatever section this was, because this one's November 2nd also. Or they had multiple copies. Like, did we already see this recipe? I don't know. And then another. So yeah, I think I kind of like those. And you know what? That booth had more. I only took 4 because I wasn't sure what I was going to be getting myself into with those. So let's see. I tried to pick out, though, some that maybe were a little bit different. Like this one doesn't have the newspaper in it. So let's see what it's got. But usually at the Goodwill bins, you can find those Taste of Home magazines that always had like these kind of recipes in them, which would be excellent for, oh, and this is our local grocery store, so they probably had those available in store. So yeah, you never know what someone's going to really enjoy when they get a kit. What is this? Is there a year on this? Nope. But it looks like just a little brochure of recipes. But yeah, I love these cards. Oh, and these aren't folded, so yay. Curried shrimp, that looks disgusting. This also looks disgusting. Tuna vegetable melange. What does melange mean? Oh, well, this is a weight control one. Melange, I don't know what that word means. If it's like medley. This almost looks like it came out of a cookbook, but maybe not. Like a magazine. I have a recipe that calls for cheddar cheese Campbell's soup. It's a hamburger casserole, but this one's chicken nachos. Oh, and is this is the original green bean casserole recipe. Yay. See, that's cool. I like that. And then sometimes that's the fun of buying paper packs, is you never know what you're going to get. Here, we've got somebody's photocopied recipe. That's funny. All right, and then we got one more of those. Yeah, I get in trouble when I go to this antique mall because this one booth has tons of paper stuff and I want to buy like everything she's got. Oh, the lids from some Quaker oatmeal that had recipes and advertisements, I guess, on them. This one's in pretty rough shape. And then just recipes out of magazines. So somebody took the time to do this. This is the perfect kind of job to do while you're watching TV. I feel like this, maybe it's not. Maybe it really was just, I thought it was one that I could open. Oh, that looks yummy. So this literally would be trash to most people, but when you get into the junk journaling world, it's all fantastic. Oh, more of these printed ones. Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I feel like these would be ones that you could print out at the grocery store. 1998. So yeah, just some good cherry cheese pie. Oh, my mom made a cherry, well, we called it cherry breeze pie, but it was, I'm trying to look to see if it's made the exact same way. You guys, I think it is. I think this is the same, but this says 1988, so this got to be a reprint because this is what my mom would make me for my birthdays when I could start asking for what I wanted for my birthdays. I would always ask for cherry breeze pie, but I don't know why hers was breeze instead of cheese, unless Breeze was a brand of either cream cheese or sweetened condensed milk. Some good recipes in these. I really like finding the kind of originals. Oh, this looks like one of those mail order ones. Great American Recipes. And some of these would have been on cereal boxes or, well, this was M&M's, so a box of M&M's perhaps. So this had a lot of pieces in this one. Ah, Philly cheesecake. I just literally bought some of this and just put a piece of this in my ephemera drawer. Ew, Italian eggplant, fruit crescents, and then just some more from the desk of Joe Gall. Wow. All right, so yeah, those were great little kits. All right, and then back to the guy selling the cards for $1. I bought 2 decks of these. These were from the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles. Yep, official playing cards for the Olympic Games. So there, I got 2 decks of these. I think this one looks like the one that maybe wasn't used. It's not, they look pretty brand new. And then they have some cool images on the face cards. So if you were doing a patriotic theme, these would be great. So I guess if anybody ever puts that as a customization for a ephemera pack in my shop, you know, maybe they want patriotic. Well, I can help them out. Or maybe they want Christmas. Oh, so I got 2 of the Christmas and 2 of the patriotic. So the backs look like that. Aw. So I guess we've replaced suits. These are 1986. We've replaced suits with Christmas trees, snowmen, what would these be? Like dwarfs or something. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Or gnomes, maybe? And then reindeer. So I thought those were cute and unique cards. And for $1, yes. You will come home with me, as Seven Plaza usually says. All right, we are almost done, and then we'll do some nostalgic TV trivia. All right, I found this set. This is the complete set, but they were all sold separately for $3. But there was only 4, and these are all 4 of them. These are pop-up tails. And so they all look like this on the center. They have a pop-up story, and then they have the actual story in here. These I am probably going to try to resell, but I've got to just hope that I can sell them for more than 3. Because I don't think I want to add these to my personal collection because they're pop-ups. Pop-ups just don't age well, although these don't look bad. Is there a date? Well, I think these are talking about the images, but this has 1987 on it. Let me see if there's a date inside. Oh, this presentation is 1996. So they're vintage, but I thought that was neat. And then in that same booth, I think that booth is also where I found those coloring books. But we've got Flopsy Bunnies and Benjamin Bunny, both for $2. They did, I think, both have somebody trying to write their name in them, but they were both, they're like, okay, so there were 4 of these also, but I only found the 2. They're like Telltale size, and they've got all of Beatrix Potter's artwork in here. And this one is 93, so the other one is probably 93, but it's like that recycled paper, which makes these images so much better. Like this, I could easily, this is not your antique version of the story, right? So this could easily take these out and make them pages because they're designed nicely to where the picture is always on this side. So yeah, I would not feel bad about tearing that up since it's not super old and not, this one is also 93. So, and it's got great color around the edges, great patina. So it looks older than it is. And then I found, and you guys, I found this before, but I found another one and I thought, I'm going to try to sell this one as is, but I paid $3, so I may not be able to make much profit, but it is a bridge score sheet that White Castle came out with, which I just think is so fun. And let me see if it's got a year. Yeah, I don't see a year, but I feel like I've looked it up and it was like the 50s. But, you know, it's got the cutout, and these pages aren't overly exciting, but it does say buy 'em by the sack. Belly bombers, as we call them here in St. Louis. So yeah, so when I saw the second one, because I just immediately tore up the first one I got, and I was like, that's dumb. Why did I do that? Because some people might actually like it because it's White Castle. And then these I got on eBay. So I did pay up for these, but you guys, this is the perfect set for Missouri because we have the St. Louis Cardinals baseball team, and our state bird is the bluebird. So it's like the best of both worlds. Plus the cardinal is the state bird of Illinois, and 2 of my kids were born in Illinois. So I love these Congress cards, and I bought way too many of these. These will end up as swap cards in my shop. I don't know why I felt like I needed to open them, because they literally are the same as these. But Congress cards are very collectible if you can find the right buyer. And I don't sell them whole because somebody else did that. I bought them to break them up, and because I like collecting. So I'll keep one of each card for my personal collection. But this doesn't have a price tag on it, but I probably, with shipping, could have paid up to $15 for this, you guys. So it's probably pricey. And then the last item is this Boy Scout book. You guys, I found a Boy Scout book yesterday that I wanted to buy so badly. It looked like it had been in a river and come back out. So it was crinkly pages. There was no real color. It was older than this one, but it had no price tag on it. So I don't know what it was. This one, $5, which may be kind of pricey, but I really liked. So this particular booth had multiple years of these Boy Scout handbooks. I picked out this one. It was not the oldest one they had, but it had the texture, like it's a thinner paper, which I liked because that gives some variety, but it also had some, let me see if I can, like pages like this that the other ones didn't have. And you guys know I love stuff like this because I buy all those books, but it had so many of these, and I just thought these were great. So this will get torn up, and it'll last a long time because this is a glue bound book, so I can't get folios out of it, so there will be several pages. I mean, look at all that. Plenty, oh, ducks and everything. I mean, so that'll be fun. And of course you get the badges. And then of course, I don't know, do people, everything is feasible in a kit. So even if you're just putting the index pages in there, it's still cool. And what's up with this? I guess they're just trying to show you the shoulder, but it's like it's cut off. Aw, there's the guy's name. What was the year on this book? Let me check. Oh, this one was missing like the title page, so I can't tell how old this one is. All right, well, that is my haul. These are the things that we're going to be taking through the entire process. Like I said earlier, I'm not sure what the next video will be, if it will be what I decided to break down and what I decided to try to sell individually. But in the meantime, I don't think I need to show this on film, but in the meantime, I'm going to be adding all of these items into a spreadsheet on my computer with a title for what it is and then the price that I paid. So that, because that will come into play for when we get to the phase of pricing the items to sell. So I'm sorry I'm not more prepared for what this series is going to look like, but I think the next logical step is saying, okay, I showed you what I got. This is what I think I'm going to do with it. And so I'll have different piles and we'll go from there. And so let's end this long video with some nostalgic TV trivia. And good luck to you. Hope you get a bunch right. Who was Gene Autry's sidekick? What TV hostess was known as the Icebox? What automobile manufacturer claims to have a better idea? Name the housekeeper on The Brady Bunch. On what movie was TV's Alice based? What was Hopalong Cassidy's nickname? Name the cafe on the Crime Photographer series. Who played the often heard but never seen Charlie of Charlie's Angels? Oh, okay. Who was Gene Autry's sidekick? I don't know. Was it a horse or was it a person? I don't know the answer to that. What TV hostess was known as the Icebox? Is that because she was always cold or because she was cold in temperament? TV hostess. This game, if you're new here, is from 1984. So I've got to think of something 1984 or earlier. But TV hostess, I don't know. Could it be like, no, it wouldn't be like Cher, right? She had her own, maybe it's someone like Dinah Shore. Let's do Dinah Shore. She had her own talk show, right? Let's try that. What automobile manufacturer claims to have a better idea? I have no idea. I'm just going to say Volkswagen. I don't even know why I'm picking that, except that it doesn't seem like an American manufacturer's kind of slogan. Oh, name the housekeeper on the Brady Bunch. Gosh darn it. I'm wanting to say Alice, but then Alice is on the next question, and that was the waitress. But okay, let me think. And see, then Florence comes to mind, but that was the mom on the Brady Bunch. I'm going to stick with Alice, but I don't feel like that's right. And then I'm going to be like embarrassed because I did watch the Brady Bunch. On what movie was TV's Alice based? Well, I did not realize it was based on a movie. So let's just say Alice. Why not? Or it could have been Mel's Diner. I don't know. We'll say Alice, but I'll give myself a half a point if it's Mel's something. What was Hopalong Cassidy's nickname? Isn't Hopalong a nickname? He had another nickname on top of that? The Cisco Kid? I don't know. I don't know. Name the cafe on the Crime Photographer series. I don't have any idea. I can't even guess on that. And who played the often heard but never seen Charlie of Charlie's Angels? I want to say John Forsythe. But was it John? Like, I think it was something Forsythe. Okay, now I got to pull the card away to give you the answers. Who was Gene Autry's sidekick? Pat Buttram. Okay. What TV hostess was known as the Icebox? Betty Furness. Oh, so was that a play on her last name being Furness? It's Furness. That's funny. What automobile manufacturer claims to have a better idea? Oh, darn it. It was Ford. It was American. Name the housekeeper on the Brady Bunch. Yay, it was Alice. Okay, good. It was throwing me off since the next question is about Alice. On what movie was TV's Alice based? Alice doesn't live here anymore. Okay. What was Hopalong Cassidy's nickname? Hoppy. See, that just seems silly. Like, really? Like, Hopalong wasn't good enough? Name the cafe on the Crime Photographer series. Blue Note Cafe. And who played the often heard but never seen Charlie of Charlie's Angels? It was John Forsythe. So I got two. I got Alice and John Forsythe. So how did you do? Let me know. All right. Well, thank you for spending time with me, possibly over multiple days. And I will be back. If I'm not back before this, I will be back on Tuesday with a Temu haul. My big Temu order did arrive today. So I may break that down, but I've got a new job with my church, kind of getting them set up on YouTube. So I'm using some of my YouTube skills to create a YouTube channel for them and working on a revised logo and a link tree to kind of serve as their website. So that I promised them I would be working on this weekend. So I don't know when I will see you next, but I will see you next, and I look forward to it, and I hope you do too. So wherever you are, whenever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And until we meet again, take care of yourself. Bye.